Okay, so after divine faith, then you have what's called negative faith. Negative faith is about how to accomplish negative goals like committing a crime or doing something bad or evil. Okay, this is negative faith. It works the same way as common everyday basic faith, except that it's for doing bad things instead of good things. Okay, and your goals might be, your emotions might involve greed, or it can involve anger. It can involve fear. Okay, like let's say that you have greed and you set a goal to rob a bank. Okay, you make a plan to go rob a bank, then you go out and rob a bank. Okay, this is negative faith. It works the same way, except that it uses greed. Maybe you take somebody sets a goal to kill somebody and they're angry with this other person, and then the goal of killing this other person, and then you have the anger and it's building up, and you make a plan and you go out and kill somebody. This is negative faith. Okay, anytime people accomplish negative goals, it's because of negative faith. It's faith that's going the wrong direction. Okay, then you have what's called anti-faith. Okay, now anti-faith answers the question, what don't you want? Okay, when you have faith, you think of what you want. If in everyday faith you want food to eat, you want clothes, you want a place to live, you want a job, you want a car, you want a nice house, you want toys. Okay, you're employing everyday basic faith. You want money, you're going out to get money. Okay, whatever. But anti-faith is what you don't want. Okay, so like for example, you don't want poverty, you don't want crime, you don't want to be raped, you don't want to be hurt, you don't want to be in an accident, you don't want bad grades in school, you don't want, what are all the things that you can think of that you don't want? Okay, now the thing about how the brain works is it doesn't differentiate between positive goals and negative goals. It doesn't, that part of the brain that does the thinking doesn't deal with the emotion that's behind it. It only deals with whatever it is the goal is. Okay, so one of the problems with our goal setting program is that the brain does not distinguish between want and don't want, except in the kind of emotion that is generated. Okay, whatever you don't want, you are afraid of it. Fear and worry and fear are the motivators for negative, or for not negative, but for anti-faith. Okay, so let's say that you have somebody that's worried about not having enough food, that's worried about not having clothes or shelter or whatever. They worry about it, and what happens? They're poor. They don't have enough food. They don't have what they want. They don't have what they need. Why? Because that's all they think about, and they worry about it. Negative energy produces negative results. Negative emotions, negative energy, negative results. Fear is a negative energy. Anger is a negative energy. Creates negative energy. Whatever the negative energy, you're going to have a negative result. Okay? So, yeah, you don't want to make a mistake. Okay? You see people like this all the time. They worry about making mistakes. What do? They make a lot of mistakes. I've been there. You've been there. We've all done it. You worry about making mistakes. You worry about being poor. Women who are afraid of being raped. Okay? Fear also attracts people that would do bad things to you. You don't want to be robbed. You don't want to be raped. You're afraid. People that rape and steal and so on, they pick up on your fear, and they're there. And they do those bad things to you because it's what you are afraid of. And so the goal that you have, which is an anti-faith goal, happens to you. Okay? And that's how that works. Okay. So then we come to love. Okay? After faith comes love. You might say that love is grown-up faith. Okay? It's faith that's grown up. Okay? With faith, and as I said earlier, all emotion comes from basic desire. When we were born, our basic desire was divided between our desire to live and our desire not to die. We had a choice, to live or to die. We chose to live. We needed air, and with a little help from the person who delivered us, we started to cry, and we got air. Okay? Then we felt hungry. We set a goal for food. Crying worked for getting air, so let's try it, see if we get it. If we cry again, if somebody will give us something to eat. And sure enough, as soon as we started crying for food, somebody put a tit in our mouth, and we started to suck, and we got food. Okay? Now let's follow our faith to obtain food and watch how it grows into love, and how love grows into worship. Okay, there's 3 levels of love. Okay, the first level of love is, it's more like you like something. You want something, you like it, right? You want what you like. And then, you surround yourself by what you want, and you begin to love it. Okay? And then if your desire for it becomes strong enough, then you start to worship it. You have to have it all the time. Okay? So, like if we were talking about food, okay, we all want food. But have you met somebody that loves food and they're eating all the time? Right? Okay? And then there are some people where that love of food goes to the point of worship. It's the thing they think about all the time, and they're obsessed with food. They surround themselves with food, and they just can't be without food. It's food, 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 food. I mean, they love it. Or you take money. I like having money better than I like not having money, but I've learned not to love money. I have definitely learned not to love money. Money has only ever created problems for me. And so because I don't love money, I've never gotten to the point of worshiping money. But other people, on the other hand, they want money, they want more money, they want more and more and more money. They start to love money because they can see what money can do for them. And they get to the point where they worship money. Their whole existence is all about making money, right? And you know them, and I know them. You know about them, and I know about them. Okay? Or let's take a desire to procreate. We all have the basic desire to procreate. It's called the sex drive. The goals of the normal person are to find a mate and have children. So, so a person sets out to find a mate. A mate is found, and they fall in love and start to do what's necessary to have babies. They love each other, and that is good and right. But then one or the other starts to obsess about their mate and begins to worship the mate, only to find out later that the mate was not worthy of our worship. This happens all the time. When I was first married, I loved my wife, and I got to the point where I loved my wife almost more than I loved God. You see, my love for my wife got to the point of almost worship. And I did find out later that she was not worthy of my worship. Love your wife, it's good. Worship your wife, not good. Same thing with wives loving their husband, that's a good thing. Worshiping your husband, that's not a good thing. The only person worthy of our worship is the Lord. That's it. There isn't anybody else. So it is good to love each other, but it's not good to